Hello, everyone, and welcome. In this recording, I'm going to be speaking about this upcoming new moon in the sign of Aquarius on the 29th of January 2025. This is a really nice. Now, I know that I could have chosen much better words for this, but I do believe this is the best term to encompass it because on one hand, it's a new moon, and on the other hand, the very sign it takes place in is the sign which is actually responsible for niceness in a rather executory way. Because you might, of course, Venus and stuff like, but even if Venus, well, Venus herself is in a way niceness in the more embodied sense, but the philosophy, the politics of what niceness is and how to be implemented, well, that's so very much Aquarius. And Venus herself, at the moment of this new moon, idealistic, unbound, truly spiritual and romantic and passionate, but in a dreamy, in a gentle way, Venus, idealistic very much in the sign of Pisces, supports this, and she is conjunct Neptune, and Neptune is conjunct the North Node. So this is a very powerful Venusian build-up, because from all of these planets that I mentioned, it is actually Venus's expression who we are going to be feeling immediately. So there is a lot of dreaminess. There is a lot of desire. And when I say desire, I don't necessarily mean the Aries or the fire energy type of desire, the burning, all consume, but rather the Piscean type, the dreamy type of desire, the longing, the mellow type, almost like as if, now understand this in a rather good way, we're on drugs or we're high, or that type of desire, the chill to it. So we feel that. Then the new moon itself in the sign of Aquarius makes this very much the goal, very much the focus of the higher thinking, because Aquarius is higher thought. Gemini is lower thought, for example, the immediate perception and the immediate mental reaction. Libra is where we contemplate already. Aquarius is the higher end of what resulted in the Libra contemplation. But okay, everything starts in Gemini as mind energy, but it hopefully ends up in Aquarius. Not everything does, but that's Libra's job. The scales of justice. Libra has to discard the bad information, the bad perceptions, that which is unfair, doesn't fit, or we don't want to do to others. Libra, karma, all of that. So what reaches Aquarius should be a really refined, the water bearer, the water being the dream, the philosophy, the principle, the politics, the higher thought of it. And this is usually the process, but this is why balance is so important in life, because especially in this day and age, and all of us do it, many times it's the bad judgment that enters to Aquarius, into the high realms of higher thought, and then bad things happen to us, and then we get depressed because what is something harmful to you or in any way harmful doing in the realms of your higher thoughts, what motivate you and inspire you? Because if something harmful is there, then you it will enter Pisces, right? Because what is the neighbor of Aquarius? Pisces and Capricorn. It will enter Pisces, and that's when it will get a bit tearful and sad and really depressive. So we need to identify the bad, the intrusive, and it's not just thoughts, but mental interpretation of reality. Not just the thoughts that we use creatively or we generate, but also our perceptions and also our own relationalizing with ourselves. Libra again. And in this way, whatever reaches Aquarius, the realm of your 11th house, let's say, going from 3rd house to 7th and 11th, and all of these houses and all of these signs are also people, other people in life, because a human being is nothing without the mirror and the interconnectedness by the very nature. There might be one individual from, I don't know, 10,000, which is somehow not affected by this general rule, but in anything, it doesn't really matter what our life configuration is. Usually, isolation means pain and suffering for 99% of individuals. Even if many have very powerful and strong coping techniques and mechanisms, which makes this, for some people, really not even felt in a strong way. However, that doesn't mean it's natural, and you know what I mean. It's not the key to happy, it's just a coping that is very, very efficient. So many times we must not confuse our built happiness, which is full of compromises, and but balance and wisdom and self-knowledge and knowledge of life and the world, with genuine, because many times that's what life is about. We cannot have genuine, and we cannot get obsessed and lost in this disillusionment and disappointment that it's not going to be perfect. No one needs in an imperfect world. We have to be imperfect, and it is the imperfection that needs to be loved and not really the opposite. But we are living the opposite way, collectively even, because this is the collective psychosis. Everyone wants to have the cake and eat it aggressively and selfishly, collectively speaking. Hence the world stage and what's everything that's happening. And all of this, what I said, is so important and part of the new moon, because Mercury, at the moment of the new moon phenomenon, is conjunct Pluto. Let me just mark this up for you. And it's in the same sign, Aquarius, as the new moon itself. So it's not just Pisces that it's packed with planets at this particular moment, but also Aquarius. Sun, moon, the king and queen of the sky. Okay, the sun is not all that powerfully comfortable in Aquarius, because it has to shine for everyone. It cannot focus its shine on one. It cannot spotlight. It has to really shine for everyone unconditionally. Hence, it loses the egotic sense of it. However, Aquarius energy, even when not egotic, it can be a bit way too mind-based. So, yeah. That's why the sun is not comfortable here, if you understand the logic to this. But we're speaking about Mercury right now and Pluto. Powerful understanding. And Mercury and Pluto is not the higher thought necessarily, what I said earlier, the general Aquarian expression, but is very meticulous. It needs proper understanding of how the human being works. And Pluto conjunct Mercury at this moment says to all of us, ignorance, that I simply do not know how the human being works, because any excuse here, insert anything, it says, well, that excuse is not valid because we are living a day and age when knowledge of how the human being simply or any being works and what are different parts of us is a must to for sheer survival, for the sake of dear life. It's non-optional already. We are living that day and age. We must know in order to know what to block out and what external upsets which part of us. Because many times the biggest problem that including me, you, no one who listens to this is not doing this same old pattern. And this pattern is we have the impression that just because we know something, in the sense that I've been to the psychology course, some people can even dish out, I have a psychology degree, or anything, like any type of understanding. Other people can, I am versed in Chinese ancient medicine. Whatever one can dish out, it doesn't matter what. But everyone makes the mistake, including myself, because I dish out astrology, that just because we know and understand, we're actually doing it and being it. And this is what Mercury is telling us. True knowledge is when it's not that you read something, it's you reach certain imperatively true for yourself conclusions by your own means. Any external knowledge is a good starting point, but ultimately true knowledge means when you understand in the most common sense way logic, where if I wake you up at 4 o'clock in the morning in your deepest sleep, your truth will be unhindered, standing like a mountain, unmovable. If I wake you up at 4 o'clock from your deepest sleep and ask you who you are, you will tell me who you are without having to think about it. I am this, and this is what my life and my soul is about. That's when we have true understanding of how us, and this is where exactly the sign of Aquarius. We understand the general, how a being generally works. Now we need to understand how the we with our imperfections and unique balance works. Because the general is not us. The general is the starting point, either to confirm it and add to it, or deny it and understand your truth. Your truth. That is the most important. So Mercury conjunct Pluto requires this type of, to understand yourself, to understand your mind, way of thinking, why it is like that, and what's its purpose. Who does it want to make you in the future? Aquarius, the sign of the future. And this energy with the new moon, creational. Who are you aspiring or dreaming yourself to become, either in a short time, in a few months, 6 months time, usually for a new moon, as in not that you have to wait 6 months and then over the course of the next 6 months period, as like a chain reaction, for example. So that is how a creational energy comes into effect. And this is very much about us, sun, ego, moon, our emotional identity, Mercury, our mind, and Pluto, the unconscious, the shadow, maximally there. Mercury, the mind. This is when we come to the table, to the creational table, in our higher thought, our higher aspirations, and highest understanding of life and the self, hand in hand with the shadow, because we are friends, we are allies, we are loving in a loving relationship with one another. We are coming with solutions, because the shadow needs the mind as an interpreter, because it speaks a different language than the rest of the being. So the shadow needs an interpreter, because otherwise you will think that it's barking at you and cursing you, and it's not. It's just telling you certain really useful truths that you are invited to bring to Libra/7th house, and then into Aquarius or 11th house. It doesn't want to necessarily harm you, but when you ignore it and you always take its expression as harm and you beat it up, well, it's not going to be cooperative with you. But everyone knows this, understands this, etc., etc. But this isn't any time. This is a special time, not just because of the Aquarian placement, but also the Pisces placement. Deeply psychological and psychoanalytical energy. The stuff of traumas, what happened to me, I'm life triggering me again. It's just triggering that old wound, or that whatever makes me Pluto powerless. Life insists on it. Well, when is enough? But when life insists and it's never enough, there comes such a moment when we take that understanding and really mean something. Hence the new moon in the sign of Aquarius. And why is this important? Well, ultimately, it must be non-optionally, as in this is our job, to make this an inspirational, hopeful, optimistic energy. Maybe it be a dream, a goal, a thought, a philosophy, friends, people, connections, allowing the right ideas, philosophies, friends, acquaintances, people who you want to be connected with into your life, or by it means if you are the person who has to cut everyone out, then that's your new moon is equally as relevant, good for that. As, for example, let me get how you call them, influencer has a big change of heart, and they discover something other inside of them, which makes their current job totally incompatible. Put yourself in that person's situation. The new moon cutting everyone out from your life is gonna be happy, positive, joyful, freedom, true freedom, empowering, even though it means the instant death of a lifestyle. But you know what I mean. That's why for some unique cases, we'll live this as cutting out. Pluto is good for that, but Mercury, the understanding of why makes it positive, useful. You embrace it. You know that it's helping you. You are already looking at the light at the end of the tunnel when you're doing what you're doing. While for others, in a more classic way, of course, a new friend, an ally, some new connection appears in your life that will ultimately be useful, and more importantly, it's a mirror glimpse of you, the future you, because your future you has future others. So a future other starts appearing, but for that other, you are a future other. But you know what I mean, the beauty of the interconnectedness and the quantum, and like a big spider web, or invisible internet, the quantic internet. So those expressions of this energy are so very expected, to be honest. The ruler of this new moon, Uranus, is in the sign of Taurus retrograde. So oh, no. Sorry. My mistake. It already went direct. So Uranus freshly went direct. That's a very powerful energy because it amplifies anything that is going on in his sign, Aquarius. And it's very revolutionary. It's very momentum based. It's very explosive. It's very surprise, random. But Taurus, and this is why I said initially retrograde, because the energy, even though it's direct, is going through its shadow path. So it's doing something that should have been done in the past, right? And the ruler is, so Uranus is holding a sextile with Venus. Venus very comfortable in the sign of Pisces, and Venus is the ruler of Taurus. So Uranus is in her domain. Again, why Venus in this astrological configuration has a much more importance than we could possibly think, even though directly it's not with the new moon. So, and Neptune adds the fantasy, the divine, the soul power, but also the freedom, for example, letting go of something that is harming you. A new ideal, a new you, a new dream, a new vision, a new inspiration. So this can be really, and for some people, especially those who have the classic not lovable, I don't even know how to name this. What is this? When not feeling lovable is the primarily manifestation force in your life, and not, it blocks out everything else. The only thing you're getting is I'm not lovable. Even though physical reality is giving you the opposite makes it even worse. So Aquarius is that. How lovable am I? Because it is my lovability that connects me to any other human element, right? Humankind is about love and so this is a really good energy. It has a healing quality to it. The Pisces planets add to this really strongly. And now the even better part of this. This new moon holds a trine, so a really flowy, easy, blessing conversation, a trine with Jupiter in the sign of Gemini, so an air trine. Well, this to me says that there is something positive in your life that is real. Okay, it's a thought, it's an information, it's a person or something that is mercurial because it's a Gemini energy, so it's like an info, a thought, something. However, it has power, and use it. We must use it because this energy trying to Jupiter, and again, Jupiter in Gemini is realistic. It is not the total Sagittarian type of hopes and optimism and the faith and the Sagittarius fires. No, it's not fire, it's air, so it has to make sense. It has to be applicable. Sagittarius don't need applicability. It needs the burning passion. And sometimes for Sagittarius, the fact that it's non-applicable makes it even better. Gemini, not the opposite, of course, opposite sign. Applicability is a big plus. Trine with the new moon. And also, later on in a few days, Mercury will take the place of the new moon and trine Jupiter himself. And Mercury rules Gemini. This is such a good energy. Well, ultimately for Mercury, because he is the disher out of the expression anyway. He is responsible to dish out what Jupiter offers him in the trine. But that's some real hope, real faith, real friends, real people, real brothers, sisters, siblings, neighbor. There is something, neighbor. There are certain moments when don't let the neighbor in. There are other moments in life when let the neighbor in. So, like, I don't even need to philosophize about this because everyone knows Jupiter, the great benefic, and whenever it holds a trine with another planet, well, he amplifies, maximizes, adds to it. It does, it, how should I say, catalyzes the other planet's expression and the signs. And so Jupiter's expression is pretty straightforward. There is something really positive that should empower this new moon, the dream or the aspiration or the thought, the decision, the final moment of knowledge that starts a new you, a new dream about, a new future, new everything. But there is another, it's even better than this. I'm not, yeah, I can't show it on this chart, but I'll just mark it in. It's actually a grand trine, if we necessarily want to see it like that, because there is a dwarf planet in Libra Makemake, who, of course, also holds trine with Jupiter and the new moon. That's a grand air trine. So this is when thought is really positive. Because at the very beginning of the horoscope, I said the thought process, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Exactly, literally what we have in the sky. Libra also comes with his own Makemake representative to hold this conversation in the sky. And Makemake is like a primordial fertility type of god, but his speciality is regeneration, rejuvenation, bringing that which was dead back to life, but by no means as necromancy and stuff like that, rather regrow when an extinct species by some miracle reappears, or you know what I mean, regrow, regenerate naturally, but fast and powerfully when life means itself to exist. And it's also very mystical, Makemake. It is also, it comes with enigma, it comes with mystery, it comes with like an aura of where time doesn't even exist. It's like an ancient force so full of benevolence that it finds a way to make things better, or to the energy of the Easter Isles is what to expect from Makemake. Could this be more beautiful? Because under this energy, the new moon itself is really, really supported by other parts of the mind. The lower Jupiter, when the faith comes from the lower mind, that's hard to accomplish. That's why it's debilitated. Not everyone and not in every life situation can you do that. It's limited, very limited. However, when it's there, it's there. Then Libra and Makemake. even if something seems impossible, it regenerates hope. I still have faith. I feel it still in me. I'm not giving up. And then new moon in Aquarius, along with Pluto Mercury, I'm gonna find a new way, a new dream, a new me, a new something, a new renewal, strongly. And if we necessarily want it, Pluto and Mercury themselves receive a trine by Black Moon Lilith in Libra. The true Black Moon Lilith, true Lilith. At 0 degree, 3 degrees of Libra. Some cold, hard truth, the shadow, that which maybe a month ago was ugly and fearsome and now is your best friend. Something darker, let's say, inside of you is your best friend. The shadow is here to help. What is it telling you? Mercury will translate it for you. And now, yet another energy that is going to be very much coloring the scene is that the new moon itself holds a conjunction with an asteroid named Apophis. I don't know how to pronounce it. Like the villain in the Stargate, because the astronomers who discovered it actually named it after him. However, he is someone from a movie named after a real deal. And this is where every astrologer has to make up their own minds. How do you see this Apophis, or what the heck? Do you see it as the Stargate villain, or do you see it as the snake creature from Egypt, ancient Egypt? Neither is good or bad, correct or incorrect. Actually, both symbols kind of will lead to the same deal. Me personally, I'm going with the snake. Well, what does the snake tell us? Okay, the monstrous infinite, the fact that it's a cosmic one, let's ignore that a little bit. Wisdom, adaptability, the energy of Scorpio, Pluto present. Pluto check there, very much there, but also regeneration, the snake, and also the serpent, very much linked to medicine, the Caduceus symbol, hermetism, and the serpent, right? So, but it's in itself dual. Exactly what I said, the venom can heal and harm at the same time, but serpent can devour or give a lot of wisdom. It can also devour. My previous example, when someone needs to cut out friends, serpent devours with wisdom, even because it knows that it's doing good. Wisdom. Wisdom here is so important. But this isn't the typical wisdom you learn from books. This is the life experience in your gut. Because Mercury, the ruler of Virgo, the gut, and the gut bacteria, and the gut bacteria intelligence is real. I had a conversation with a real, like a doctor, a friend of mine who is not just an average doctor sitting at a table. She's passionate, the passionate type who for knowledge. So if they know it's 100% real, then everyone knows. Everyone can believe that there is a certain kind of unique intelligence and an intelligence center in the gut. And Mercury with Pluto can be that as well, and especially trine with Black Moon Lilith. Black Moon Lilith is very much that savage, feminist energy, if you know what I. And in Libra, what is Black Moon Lilith doing in Libra? Let's say things out loud. Let's not be. Black Moon Lilith's presence in Libra is so obviously observable on the birth stage ever since she entered there. And I don't know the exact date, so I'm not even gonna lie. And it's not even important, a few months back, so something like that. Everyone calls out politicians for hypocrisy. Don't lie. Don't pretend you care when you don't care. That's Black Moon Lilith in Libra. That's on the world stage. That's also in our lives. And I see this play out on an everyday basis. There's that really, really nice, I don't know, shop assistant. But when that niceness is artificial, people just call it out. Please don't do this, because I know I'm not an idiot. And how should I say? The other shop assistant, who is not very pretty, who is definitely having a bad hair day, who has a few teeth missing, and is definitely drinking a lot. That's why they're employed. That's what they do with it. And comes with a genuine little smile, whatever they can. People also sense that, and who are they gonna be friendly to? Not the one who was trained to do this, but the one who, out of his misery, gave the smile. People are not stupid. And Black Moon Lilith in Libra is putting salt on this. No hypocrisy. The fact that you were trained, what is training? The mind, Mercury, the trickster. You learn to deceive. That's doing psycho-emotional harm to you. Rather than to come to me, astrologer, psychologist, mystic, priest, best friend, neighbor, or whoever shoulder you cry on, rather than to come and complain, don't accept the training. Don't force anyone, any job, any company, any school, any parent, anything on yourself to tell you to fake things in order to receive money. Because if I don't know about you, but to me, that is not healthy and doesn't do good to one's soul, not ego, not mind, Mercury, soul, self-esteem. The self-esteem that just oozes like water from a spring. The free juice, the divine inside of us, the wellspring, our spirit, you know what I mean? If that dries out, well, sometimes what the therapist will say, well, it's really nothing to do with you, it's your job. And it damaged your software a little bit. Go on a long retreat or holiday or live 2 months in a rural place and you'll be fine. You'll forget all of that. But this is Black Moon Lilith. Black Moon Lilith is pointing this out aggressively. She's not letting it go. She's like what we call in modern culture Karen, on pure purpose. Or there's that British comedy, I'm not even sure, show or what you call it, that Philomena Clunk. That's Black Moon. Like, she literally is doing Black Moon Lilith's job in Libra. That's what Lilith is doing. Pointing out the ridiculous. That's also Aries in the sign of Aries, the gold at an apple. Because what is she doing? That's not comedy what she's doing. She's telling us in an indirect way all science and history and everything we value and take seriously, well, it's just a thought. That's what she's doing, and she's brilliant. Of course, it's just a thought. She can mock it the way she wants because it's just a make believe. It's not real. Why? Because for any human being, like your dog especially, because your dog is champ at this, we should be really good at just feeling life, life's joy, or life's adventure. And the rest is non-important. Very, 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 very non-important. And most ancient religions kind of so oh my goodness, what the crime I just committed, sorry. Not religions, ancient cultures, ancient wisdom, not religion. No, 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 no. Culture. Were actually everyone was saying the same thing. Everyone knew this. Like this was not wisdom, what I'm saying. This is not part of their wisdom because this was just common sense. You cannot call something that an ant, a bee knows for wisdom because everyone knows that. That's like the norm. So yeah, I'll rather stop here. So thank you everyone for listening, and please, there was never a more. Oh my goodness, one thing I must mention. The Sabian symbol of this new moon. Remaining humble even when under great popularity. To me, there's so 10 million ways to look at the Sabian symbol. To me, this says wisdom. When gets popularity out of sheer wisdom of the heart, is not going to be blinded by the light, well, they already stepped up a huge deal on their incarnation evolution, their personal evolution on this incarnation. They really done a good sprint. This is the wisdom we must manifest with, both for ourselves and collectively. Because amongst new moon, seed of intention, right? If that intention is peace, accepting one another, how we are now, with our wounds, with our pains. Why do we need to transform each other aggressively into a fairy tale? That is the road to hell, really seriously. And most couples, right, in this today, this week, this month, are doing that to each other, especially the most loving couples. No, your husband or wife is not gonna heal the way you think and is not gonna turn to Don Juan. No. Neither are you gonna turn into the princess you dream of. No, no, no. What is gonna change? The only thing that's gonna really change is your ego's game where you accept the person how they are and see that we are in survival mode and our problems really don't matter because we need to build together, like it or not. We better shut up and mind our real business and turn off the internet. So thank you everyone for listening, and until next time, bye for now.